After the fall of the Roman Empire, a part of this ancient superpower remained strong in the East. This was known as the Eastern Roman Empire. Later on, this was called the Byzantine Empire as a way to show the shift from Roman and pagan culture to Greek and Orthodox culture. In this video, I will be covering the Byzantine Empire. I will cover facts about this great empire. I will cover its most sacred Orthodox church, the Hagia Sofia. I will cover the city of Constantinople, the Byzantine Emperor Justinian, and the religion practiced by the empire called Eastern Orthodoxy. The first topic on this week's list is the Byzantine Empire. The Byzantine Empire lasted from about 500 to 1453 CE. That's about 1,000 years. Its borders eventually extended from what is now Spain through Anatolia, Egypt, and the Levant. The capital of the Byzantine Empire was Constantinople. The culture and language of the Byzantines was Greek. The official religion of the Byzantine Empire was Eastern Orthodox. We know a lot about Byzantine culture from their mosaics, icons, and churches. The second item on the list for the Byzantine Empire is the Hagia Sophia, or Hagia Sophia. After the destruction of Constantinople during the Nika Riots, Emperor Justinian was determined to rebuild the city. He had the Hagia Sophia built, which in Greek means the Church of Holy Wisdom. It was considered one of the biggest buildings in the world during the Middle Ages. It is a standout in the skyline of the city of Constantinople. The Hagia Sophia is the most holy church to Orthodox Christians. It's famous for its beautiful mosaics. For example, in this mosaic, we see a famous picture of Jesus and Mary. And over here, we see a famous mosaic of Jesus. This is probably the most famous depiction of Jesus. The Ottomans, who captured the city in 1453, were so impressed by the design of the Hagia Sophia that they copied and pasted a mosque right next to it. This mosque is known as the Blue Mosque. In 2020, the Hagia Sophia was converted to a mosque. This was a controversial decision and condemned by the Orthodox Church. Third on the list, we have the capital city of Constantinople. Constantinople was a city that was considered the crossroads between the East and the West. It was originally a Greek colony called Byzantium, and later it was renamed to New Rome by the Emperor Constantine. Later the city was called Constantinople. In 1453 it was captured by the Ottomans and was later renamed Istanbul. Constantinople was the capital of the Byzantine Empire. Another impressive structure in the city was a hippodrome. This was a place where the citizens watched chariot races and rooted for their favorite teams. The competition got so fierce at times that there was a riot called the Nika riot between the blue team and the green team. This ultimately destroyed the city. Let me make a correction here. So in the Nika riots, what actually happened is the blues and the greens were angry at some of the members being arrested, so they rioted against the Byzantine government. The city had strategic importance too. There's a waterway called the Bosphorus that connects the Black Sea to the Mediterranean Sea. Fourth on the list is Justinian. Justinian is considered one of the greatest emperors of the Byzantine Empire. His wife, the Empress Theodora, was very powerful as well and helped Justinian rule. During the Nika riots in Constantinople, she encouraged Justinian to stay and fight for his city rather than fleeing in the mayhem. With her encouragement, Justinian put down the revolt. Unfortunately, 30,000 citizens were killed in the fighting. After the riots, Justinian and Theodora rebuilt the city and made it even grander with many public works and projects. And last on the list, we have the Eastern Orthodox Church. Sometimes it's called the Greek Orthodox Church. This is a branch of Christianity. Religion and government were linked as one under a theocracy in the Byzantine world. This meant that religion and government were combined under one all-powerful body. The head of the Orthodox Church is the Patriarch, but he was not as powerful as the Catholic Pope. He was a bishop selected by the Byzantine Emperor. Unlike Catholic priests, Orthodox priests are allowed to get married. Orthodox church service was done in Greek and is called the Holy Liturgy. Orthodox Christians also pray to saints and use icons in church services. Here are a few examples of Orthodox churches throughout Greece, Bulgaria, and the United States. And here are a few examples of icons. In review, this week's Peppy list covered the Byzantine Empire, the Hagia Sophia, Constantinople, Justinian, and the Eastern Orthodox Church.